Okay. All right, we're back. And we did some subsetting last time. We're going to continue on with subsetting. This time we're going to put a couple of conditional statements in there, which will help us narrow down our searches. We're also going to use a different data set. We're going to use the iris data set, which also comes with R. So that makes it easy for us to practice with. So that being said, let's set our data frame. We'll call it plants. We're going to let that... we're going to assign the iris data set to that. So iris is just plain iris, just like that. If I hit Command Enter, you'll see in my environment, plants, 150 observations of 5 variables. Remember how to do that programmatically. You can do dim and do plant. We get the dimensions. And down below in our console, 150 and 5, right? Number of columns, and call plant. And I may or may not have showed you these, but remember, there's tons of ways to do everything. You're going to have to learn to use Google and Stack Overflow, but by practicing these, when you see the results in Stack Overflow, you're going to understand how to apply those results to your very specific example. And that's crucial because you're never going to find the exact thing that you're looking for, but you'll find something close. And if you can read the programming syntax and you can say, oh, I get it now, and you can modify it to your needs. Because what is it, like 90% of all code is just cut and paste from Stack Overflow with a few modifications, sadly, or good, I'm not sure. Quick joke is Stack Overflow was created without Stack Overflow. If you don't get it, that's okay, maybe later. All right, n row, plant, and we hit enter, 150 rows. So we get all this stuff out of there. Names, that's very important. We want to know what kind of header file do we have, plant. And we have the names down here. We have length, width, and that's a sepal length, sepal width. And we have petal length, petal width, and then the species. All right, so now that we have kind of an idea of guess what this data is, we really don't know what kind of data is in there though, so let's just do a head and type in plant. And let's just capture the first 3 rows for funsies. All right, here we go. And we have, okay, some numbers, 4 to 5. Yeah, different numbers in there. Looks like the petal width, 0.2. Maybe we should have done, let's do 10 observations. Just get a little bit better feel. Okay, so it looks like the petal width is a decimal number for the most part. There might be some greater, I don't know. In fact, let's just figure that out by using our subset function. So here in our set of 10, we have up to 0.4. Let's see if there's anything 0.5 or greater. So let's just do that as an example. So what we're going to do is we're going to do subset. It's a function built in, and we're going to subset what? The plant database or data frame, sorry. And what I didn't show you before was that you can type in the word plant, then the $sign, and it gives you all of the names of the headers right here. So we want to know if there's any petal widths. So go down to petal width, hit enter on that. So now you have it there. We want to know if any of those are greater than 0.4. Let's do greater than 0.41 because we know there's a 0.4 in there. And I'm going to hit enter. And right now we have 10 observations showing. But remember, the actual observation count is 150 because that was just a sample or the top 10. Top 10 as in the first 10. I got to be very careful with what I say here. So here we have a bunch of numbers, but I don't think we have them all. Well, let's find that out. Let's do a dimension on it. Because let's do number of rows, n row of the subset. See how you can concatenate functions like this? 102. So 102 out of 150 observations have a petal width that is greater than 0.41. Okay, cool. Let's do a petal width greater than 0.41, and it has to have a, let's say, let's go up to the top here and look at these names again. Let's say a sepal length greater than 6. So let's do an and in there. Remember these parentheses, which is one nice thing about RStudio is whenever you have your arrow on the parenthesis, you can see the corresponding parenthesis kind of highlighted. So you know, oh, okay, that closes that. The next one over closes that function. So you can kind of keep track of where you're at. You want to be within the innermost parentheses. And instead of a comma, you're not going to do a comma here. You can do an and. So the and is just the ampersand. Okay, and then we want to put the entire condition, which is we want the plant sepal length, I believe that we said. Sepal length greater than 6. Now let's do Command Enter on that. And we've got, so the number of rows that has that is 61. If you want to see what they are, you can get rid of the n row. Parentheses like that should not matter. And here they are. Here are the outputs. Well, if you want to save that as something, you can. You can say, you know, your special plant let's assign it to this. Let's make this look a little better. Let's put an enter here. White space typically doesn't matter, so now you can see it all on one screen. Okay, so now we set it as special plant, and if you look over here in our environment, we have special plant, 61 observations. Now we can do all of our analysis on this subset of the data. So that's the cool part about subsetting, and that's one way to do it. We can do an OR statement. Let's do a OR statement. Let's say we want to subset our plant database or our plant data frame with, I said, sepal length. I think I said less than 3. And then anyways, the OR symbol is the pipe, which is above the return key usually, and a shift. Or we want plant petal sepal length less than 3, petal width, I said less than 0.2. Okay, yeah. I don't know anything about plants, obviously. So we've got a list of, looks like 5 observations. How do we know it's 5? Well, we can do dimensions and get the dimensions of it, because that might be important. So 5 columns and 5 rows. We could have done rows, remember. Okay, simple as that. The main point of this is to subset using one of the features quantities, and you can use the or and the and you can combine these as much as you want. I can do an or, I can do an and, you know. So basically look at the syntax of how I did this. The entire conditional statement is on the right hand side of this 2-parameter function. So the first parameter is the actual data frame, which is plant, and then the second parameter is this entire thing, which leads to a vector of trues and falses, and that's kind of important. So what it actually returns is a true, false, true, 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 false, false, whatever these conditions satisfies. And if it satisfies a false, that gets put into the subset function, and it knows only pluck out the trues from the original data set plant. More on that as we go, but those are some terminologies you're going to have to learn, and I hope this helps you with your subsetting practice. Don't forget to practice, and there's going to be probably a dozen more ways to do the same exact thing, and I'll probably go through most of them throughout the entire lesson set. See you in the next lesson.